Okay, Bidoof. I would say let's give it some time around. Let's see how they're gonna adapt and do the feedback around it before before we create a riot storm. I do think that there's some things that they should change and modify because it's far from a perfect system. Personally, I'm like it doesn't impact like GPL and PvP, and it's likely going to be banned in every Silph Cup. So I'm not. For me, it's like megas are whatever. Um, yeah, speed bonus is the worst, but like to be honest, like 30 to 50 is not like a crazy difference. Like that means you're doing two extra raids to get to 200. No, three. I guess three extra raids. So it's not like too crazy of a difference. Um, between 30 and 50, right? And Niantic's made it pretty clear that they don't care about short, like group rating, like short person rating. I still like saying short person. That's just me, but short person rating, or like trios and duos, mostly because like they've done a number of things. Like for example, when they increased the HP by 20%, it was pretty clear that they didn't like people soloing tier fours and soloing legendaries. So it is what it is, right? It's I prefer doing 6 raids on an hour with a friend, all yellow, gyms, 18 balls, tons of items. Now there's no team bonus, so it doesn't really matter too much. And plus, like, I don't care about the boss most of the time. Yeah, well, how do you do both? Like, what would be your suggestion around it? Because you still get damage bonus. You still get damage bonus, right? Like if you go in like raid with 20 people, you're only gonna get one damage. If you do a duo, you're gonna get 3 damage. If you go with 4 people, you'll get 3 damage. Like how would you so man, if you do if you I do think that there's some things I saw Reversal talk about best buddy, and then like you get not only a candy but you get some energy. I like that too. um I like that idea. And then you could like for GBL, will we have mega lower level ones that stay under the cap? It's very unlikely that they would. When they do allow it, it'll probably be reflective after the stats. So really, it only matter for like ultra and masters whenever it is allowed. Imagine megas in greatly, it probably wouldn't impact it too much. To be honest, we're not talking about the same thing as shadows because like shadows circumvent the CP formula, but like megas don't. Like megas like apply the CP formula. Is it me? There's no screenshot. Yeah, there's no screenshot because I'm just talking, answering some questions. But I do think there's some changes that they need to make to mega raids. I was talking to on FP6. Like it kind of sucks to that the energy is specific to the Pokemon because like it sucks for a couple reasons. One, once that Pokemon is out of raids, like you're almost never gonna use energy. It's like there's like you're almost never gonna use energy because you're like I don't know when I'll actually need it, right? Because like uh, it's if you can as long as someone so then you're almost never gonna need it. Also, I don't speak as clearly, so like that's the speech to text is probably pretty decent for like someone like Zionic or Taylor that speak a little bit more clearly. So you're almost never going to use it. So kind of sucks. And then I would prefer if it was my idea because I understand like Niantic wants to make money off of it, and like it obviously takes developers time and effort to do it. My idea was to propose my proposed idea was like make it just Pokemon specific to unlock the mega, and then make it like uniform energy. I know some people said it was too complex and all that stuff, but I think like just have like uniform energy to be able to mega evolve like after you unlock it. That way, people still have to do the raid boss whenever it comes out because they can't just bank unlimited amounts of energy. Encourages social gameplay during those time periods, but doesn't make it so that it's like so scarce and related to that one Pokemon, right? I think it's just uniform energy. I don't think they'll ever do uniform energy. Maybe, I don't want to say ever, but I think it's a balance. Like we got to think about a balance between those two. Catch a Bulbasaur or 100 anything, and it's non-civic energy cost. Anything that doesn't. So I kind of view it as like unlocking the mega is like candy, right? And then uniform energy is like Stardust. That's what I kind of like view it as, right? Like kind of drawing that parallel for them. Because I do think like having just like Charizard energy like sucks. Just sucks. Or type energy. Type energy makes sense too, right? It's well thought to make money. Check your whispers for after the stream. I'll take my whispers. What megas are you evolving for? I'm not too fussed, right? Like unless I need it, I don't really care about the dex entry or the flex or whatever, right? Like for me, it's like it's whatever. Like Brawl, Stark, Stars, King, like they have to have some sort of currency in the game, right? Like they have to incentivize people to play the game in some form or fashion. Or if everyone could get everything at once, then that doesn't really work for a mobile game. So there's a balance on these things, right? I'm not. I wouldn't say, the mega system needs some work. Hear me out, stickers. Yeah, I would say like they've implemented a lot of like good features as well, but definitely I think this is a I don't want to think totally wrong, but it has some work to do on it. And having the stickers, the amount of time they put on stickers is way less than megas. So like and sometimes like they get instructed by like Pokemon Company. That's something they have to implement. So we're not talking about like it obviously didn't take the same amount of time to develop stickers as it does to develop GPL, right? So like if people are only talking about like so I don't really like just like pointing that as examples like not something constructive for them to do. It's not really constructive, right? If we're talking about like if we want to see change, we need to present like rational ideas to them that understand all their different needs and stakeholders and that are viable. Just saying it sucks is like doesn't really do much. Let's talk about ideas that we need to that they can grab onto and consider and then take an iteration of it. I'm probably going to suggest at least 30 ways to make the system better and make a mega post on Reddit. Yeah, those are helpful, right? I think those are good. Those are good. They read Reddit, right? They obviously take consideration. So I think those are good. Type civic energy is great, right? Like stones for civic Pokemon. Like I think there's a lot of things that they can do, right? And you know, this is a new idea, and I think it's a misstep in terms of megas and not necessarily capturing. You want to balance making money, making it tenable for the broader audience, but this one was like it's just like it doesn't really make too much sense, to be honest. Are you a master at using stat tools? I'm like, yeah, I would say Excel's not really a stats tool. Well, I guess you can do stats on it, but yeah, I'm pretty good at it. Megas don't incorporate the lore much. Yeah, it's a different. If we were to launch our app with the bugs, we'd live on the streets right now. But you know, the thing is, like, this is a very like leading edge type of thing. All this like AR in the real world. Thank you, Scotchalicious, for the tier 1. Appreciate it. Where's Mega? I was gonna use Mega Leslie now. GBL, yeah. I think that they cannot. I think if we give them credit, they made the right move of not releasing Megas in GBL, because like it would be so pay to win. Do you use R or Python? I use both. I'm more well versed in Python, but some of my clients use R, and that's fine with me. Consider that every screen looks the same, but I promise you it doesn't take long to insert 3D. I'm not even talking about 3D models, right? Like I'm talking about the geolocation. Like obviously a lot of that stuff's crowdsourced, and I think there's certainly this is why like people are playing the game, right? Like there are a lot of people are saying like, oh, just because of the Pokemon IP certainly helps, but there are a lot of side Pokemon games that are not main series that totally flopped. So, I think the AR technology part. I'm not talking about like putting the models or any of that stuff is not really too complicated, but there's so many flops in the game. So, but obviously Pokemon, the game has a lot of bugs, absolutely, and I've experienced almost every single one, playing like almost every aspect of this game super hardcore, but we still play it because of the unique concept it has. We've already changed the name of the stream to just chatting. I guess I should raid somebody. I should raid somebody because I gotta go. Okay, who should we raid? Unless you guys don't want to hear me babble and that kind of stuff. The seductive tree sticker's not a flop. That's true. Go Stadium for Worlds. Let's do it. Go Stadium. Hype for Worlds pre-show. I think that's an important one. Worlds is on Saturday at like 4 p.m. UTC. So like noon Eastern time or something like that. So I'll be participating in that. I'm not sure what my official capacity is yet. Even the Best Buddy system is a flop. The Best Buddy system is okay. Like the thing is like it's not so OP that you have to have it. And it's like people have grinded out the Best Buddy system without spending any money. So I would say it's not a flop. Like quest achievements with your Best Buddy. Could they do more with Best Buddy? Absolutely. But the how OP it is versus the grind, the cost, the pay to win aspect of it is balanced, I would say. Yeah, exactly. Like people have Best Buddies without using any poffins, right? It's a grindable thing. I think it's actually a very good example of like something that people can grind, or people can pay, and it's pretty balanced without making it too crazy. It's not worth it. Then you don't have to do it, right? Like iPhone turkeys, like you know what I mean? Like you don't have to do it. Like it's not. If for example they made it like 3 times the effort and it was like 10 times as OP, and you could save like 50 times the effort by paying, I think that's a flop. But right now it's like something that's nice to have. Like you should have Best Buddy on Metagross because it helps with the Dragonite matchup in a very restricted meta. I think it's very much required at the higher level, and you win CMP, so it's not too crazy. Normal raids are more pay to win, yeah, for sure. Like this mega raid stuff is more pay to win, but there's no win aspect to these megas right now. You can't use them in GBL, right? You can use them if you want to flex on people, right? And like you want to complete a raid faster, but like it's like one Pokemon, and I don't even know like one Pokemon out of the 6 that you're gonna use, and it's like one. So like if you're the only person using Mega and there's like 10 people in the raid and you use 50 Pokemon, it's like one Pokemon out of 50. You're gonna complete the raid like 6 more seconds faster. It's like whatever, right? Like what is there to pay to win? what pay to win aspect is there? Best Buddy Dialga is another example, right? It's just like there's no win aspect to to it right now. Like it's just a flex right now. The megas for me are just a flex. It's a flex. Unless there's like, and that's how I view it. Like I'm not too fussed about it. Some of the 7K stuff is like definitely too cash grabby. But yeah, like obviously the Dino one is like was kind of nuts, but has been really since last year. I don't know. If you compare it to some other games, it's if you compare it to some other games, you can totally play this game free to play. They released Premier, like without Premier, like I think GBL is less pay to win with the fact that they released Premier, because now you don't need to raid Registeel, you don't need to raid Dialga, you don't need to do this stuff, right? You can't. That's without. You can't you can't do regular Master League without money. But you can do Premier without money. You know what I mean? Like there's some people like, there's several people that hit like Click Nick, for example. I'm not saying he's free to play, but he's an example of like someone who was like not even level 40 and reached rank 10 super early, right? It's like we need a legit example of pay to win. There's no like, if I think Master League beforehand was the flower. Togepi was yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was exactly like you get the little. How much money are you spending if you're only like, no offense, Tiny Boy, like if you're level 36, right? Was number 4 wall level 37, right? And missing so many meta Pokemon, right? So like, you know what I mean? So like, it's not really the fact that they released Premier was like less pay to win for GBL. There are certainly like pay to win if you, yeah, that kind of thing, right? So yeah, Premier is way better for sure, right? Regular Master League, so that type of thing, right? It's not really pay to win. Like, man, if you play like Clash, for example, man, try to make it to the top of Clash spending no money. There's no way. Not saying no way. It'd be way more difficult. There's so many other games that are like way more pay to win than Pogo. Pay to progress. Yeah, for sure. Pay to progress, for sure. All EA games, right? Like, are there examples of Niantic maybe being a little bit too greedy? Absolutely, right? There's obviously good amount of them, but they've also made the game like fairly accessible, right? You can play this game and spend no money and have like, full enjoyment of it. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's like more where you play than paying to win. Like, for example, in Clash, I don't know if this is exact numbers, but in Clash, I could drop 15,000 and, have like almost anything in the game. You can't drop 15,000 in 1 hour. Like, you can't drop 15,000 on Pogo and have everything in 1 hour. Yeah, paid. Location definitely matters way more than like if you lived in the middle of nowhere and you try to drop with remote raids, it's a little bit easier now. But if you live in the middle of nowhere, and the remote raids was like the only thing that they implemented because of COVID. But if you drop 15,000 and you lived in the middle of nowhere, You know what you're doing? You're not doing anything. Sorry, YouTube new account. No, there's no multi-accounting. Like I can't multi-account. I wish I could, Mark. That would be a really cool idea. They'd be super fun to like kind of like show like creating a new account, but no. There's like it's too. I wouldn't want to do it, just because it's so frowned upon. But it would be a fun idea. They keep talking about it. I have no idea. What if the subscription stuff they're talking about? I have no. Well, the thing is, like, I don't want to criticize ideas before they come, right? And like they clearly the walking requirement, for example, they could have implemented it for this season, but they didn't. And they're talking about it, and they didn't. So I think we gotta be balanced on like where do we want to be critical of them, and I think absolutely be critical. And I've been critical of them on some of the ideas and things that they've done, and I've gotten some backlash on it. But I think it's also important to understand like where have they gone right and encourage them to continue doing that. Do you think they'll get rid of the walking requirement? Who knows, Big Jake. But I'm hoping that they don't. And I'm hoping that they recognize the value of these streams and bringing together the community and all that stuff. So, but we'll see. Until they fix the whole GBL issues. No, I think, Turk, that those are completely separate decision making. Completely separate decision making on that. They clearly recognize the walking thing as like... so here's... Yeah. I think, we'll see how they want to do it. Retention would be abysmal for sure. They recognize like how engaged the GBL stuff is, right? And you can even see in the community day moves and all that stuff. So they clearly care about it. Will they go back and will they get pressure from the community and that kind of stuff? From their bosses and stuff. But I know like for sure, for a fact, that the developers and whatnot care about GBL and that kind of stuff. So what are the... So the Mac, you should check out Zionic's video on spicy stuff. Yeah. Let it be so that the walking required is for extra sets. I like that idea. And bank it. I think that would be super fun. Any idea how many Pogo people play Pogo and what percentage play GBL? I have no idea on that one. I like that, Sammy. That's a good idea. Because it's not like so crazy. Monster, Mugly, like they have to make money in some way. Like you can't say you have to make this whole game free. Right? That's just not a tenable possibility. Even if we want it. Like there would be no development in the game, right? Like it would be talking about the walking requirement. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Zion's a cool dude, obviously. Man, would need to hire me for their creative team. Searchers don't maintain themselves, right? So, if the walking comes back, I'll stop playing. I want it to be free. Yeah, we all want it to be free, but we all have to be realistic as well. Anyways, I'm talking too much, so you guys should go watch some battling. No need to hear me blabber about this kind of stuff, right? So, but anyways, go enjoy your time. What do you think of the response that Niantic made to the letter? For me, words mean nothing. I need to see action. And you know what? They fixed desync. The Switch problem's still there. There's still like a little bit of lag. Not crazy. They fixed desync, which is huge. So that's like walking the walk. I could care less about some bullet points that they've said. I could care less. Like, make it in whatever font, make it a tweet, website. I don't care.